Didn't tell you this story? The Jewish guy that went up to the clerk in the Kenilworth, he says, you got a room? The guy says, you, it'll cost $100 a day. The guy says, I don't mind what you're charging. You got a stable for my horse? The guy says, that'll cost you $100 a day, too. The guy looks at the clerk, he says, look, I don't mind you robbing me, but my horse ain't Jewish. Isn't that a cute story? You can tell it to the kids. Oh, the kids are very square today, right? Children don't know nothing today. An 18-year-old runs over to me. She says, did you ever douche with 7-Up? And I've been using Squirt all my life, Stan. A kiss on the hand may be quite continental, but diamonds are a girl's best friend. Did you ever meet him in front of the pawn shop and kiss him under the balls? I sing happy songs. I don't sing sad songs. People come to a nightclub to laugh. They want to cry, they stay home. I don't sing sad songs. Let my mother-in-law, that rat bastard, sing sad songs. She knew how good I was living, she'd kill herself. She thinks I'm a bellhop. I'm a nun. I'm doing the nun story with B.S. Pulley. There's a guy who plays with his own organ all night. Yeah, it's a cute story. True story. But a guy who had an obsession. He hated girls all his life because since he was a little boy, his father told him that girls have teeth on their little pucchiacchia. That's Italian. So he grew up and he finally met a girl. He fell in love with her. He married her. So on the wedding night, he went to sleep in the living room. So she called him. She said, what, are you crazy? Don't you know when you get married, there are certain duties that a husband has to perform? Oh, he says, I love you, honey, but since I'm a little boy, my father told me that, you know, I'm a little afraid it's got teeth on it. She says, teeth? What, are you crazy? She says, come here, I'll show you. So she showed him. He took a look. She says, does it have teeth? He says, how can you have teeth when your gums are so bad? I'm not warning you, honey. I'm just telling you. Take it for what it's worth. It's about a young couple who were trying to have horizontal recreation. They lived in one room. And they had a 7-year-old boy, and the father didn't know how to get rid of him. So finally he walked over, he said, son, I want you to look outside that window. Every time you see a red hat go by, I'll give you $1. The kid came back in 10 minutes. He says, you know, Pop, you're really screwing yourself out of a lot of money. The whole Shriners Parade has gone by. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men. Shit. Don't say dirty words in here. Well, I've been told I look like the great, great, great Sophie Tucker, and I wish I did. Do I look like Sophie? She says, and when my final curtain comes down, I'm the last of the red hot mamas. And there ain't no one like me. And she's right. Reminds me of women when they say, I met one the other day, she says, I don't want to grow old. I says, die young. Women are so stupid. It's a great day when you can live to be old, right? Oh, I have a story that's going to flip you. It's about a New York buyer entertaining a model in the pump room in Chicago. This is very high class. I know it's high class. I gave the girl in the toilet 50 cents. She wouldn't give me a piece of paper. Well, this broad is eating like she's got 9 rectums. Patty de foie, pheasant under glass, Piper Heidsieck, the whole bitch, you know. Baked Alaska, and this guy is looking at her like this. He says, you know, young lady, I'd like very much to ask you a question. She says, go ahead. He says, your mother cooks like this for you? She said, no. He said, why not? She says, my mother ain't looking to offer me, that's why. And that's a true story, as I heard it. I got 1 million of them. I heard another one about a Texan. It's very cute, Lil. a story about a pilot that was bringing in a plane. He says to the guy in the tower, Roger, over. Guy says, over. He says, I'm bringing in a passenger plane with 100 passengers. The guy in the tower says, what are you, nuts, in a two-seated plane? He says, you heard me, son. He pulls in the plane, and everybody runs out of the tower, and the guy from the tower walks over, and he sees 100 little guys this big walking out of the plane. He says to the pilot, why didn't you tell me they were midgets? The pilot says, they ain't no midgets, son. They're Texans with the bullshit let out of them. You know how they brainwash a Texan? They give him an enema. Ever hear the one where the old man went in the ladies' room by mistake, and this woman got it? She says, get out of here. This is for women only. He says, don't scream. So is this. You ever hear the story about the girl who couldn't join a key club because she didn't have a key, so she joined a country club? That's a story about an American that got off the plane in Cuba, and there was a poor Cuban standing there. He says, Senor, you like to ball my sister? Guy says, I can't even drink your water. I heard a very cute story about a father who's arguing with his son. The son says, Papa, what are those two dogs doing? Father says, the dogs ain't doing nothing, beat it. Kid says, I want to know, I ain't leaving. The father says, they're doing nothing, I'm telling you. The little one is sick and the big one is pushing him to the Mount Sinai hospital. It's a story. It's a story about two men who went into a Chinese laundry, and one says to the Chinaman, you got my shirts? Chinaman says, you got a ticket? The guy says, I must have lost it, but I've been here before. Don't you remember me? Chinaman says, no ticky, no shirty. Guy walks out with his friend. He says, how do you like that Jew bastard? Guy says, what kind of a Jew? He's Chinese. The other guy says, they're the worst kind. The worst kind. 10 years ago, we found a song, and we love it. A great song. The only song in the world that applies to everyone in the world. Right, Paula? Everybody should know the words to this song. You're nobody till somebody loves you. You're nobody till somebody cares. We may be king, we may possess all the world and its gold. Gold won't always bring happiness when you're growing old. We'll be the same, we'll never change it. As long as there's a star up above, slow, honey. You're nobody till somebody loves you. Find yourself somebody to love. It's my song, right? You're nobody until somebody loves you. You're nobody till somebody cares. We may be kings, we may possess all the world and its gold. Gold won't always bring happiness when you're alone and growing old. The world will be the same. We'll never change it. As long as there's a star up above. You're nobody till somebody
love. I mean really love. I say get out, get lucky.